Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Monday morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing well out there and having a fantastic start to your day and a great start to your work week. Thank y'all for tuning in this morning as we try to figure out what's going to happen weather-wise for your Monday. We're going to speak on the moisture that continues to bubble up out the Gulf of Mexico. It's raining pretty good in areas like Louisiana and surrounding states around it. We'll speak on that. A little bit of moisture that's going to swing through the northeast. Could fall in the form of snow, maybe a little accumulating snow. And we still got moisture that continues round after round to funnel into the western U.S. We'll speak on that. Second half of the video, we'll give you an update on the tropics. I know I got a few people that tune in from like Jamaica. You definitely want to watch this storm system. Do I think y'all going to get hit by a major hurricane? No, but I do think you're going to get some tropical moisture from this. We need to figure out if this is going to develop into a tropical storm sometime in the next few days. It'll be Vince if it does, and that the last name in the hurricane list of names. So we'll speak on that. We'll give you an update. And then at the very end, we will speak on what we've been talking about over the last several videos. And that is, what is the weather going to do as we get like to this weekend? Excuse me. And as we get into Thanksgiving week, we know that Thanksgiving week, some people just take the entire week off. They travel, they head to grandma's house, whatever you may be doing. We all know that a lot of people are traveling for Thanksgiving week, especially the day before Thanksgiving. So we'll give you an update on that. It's not going to be super long, super detailed. We'll do that numerous times throughout the week as we know more. But it's definitely important to start giving you some updates on this and fine-tuning things as we get closer. So we will do that in this video. So with that being said, if you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. I've not had a chance to answer the comments over the weekend. Typically, I catch up on all the comments from the previous weekend that following Monday afternoon. So I will do that. I did read a few of them, just kind of scanning through my phone. Thank y'all for the encouragement, the positive feedback. Just not really discouraged, but things have been so slow on my YouTube channels. It's been very slow weather, so thank y'all for being kind. That's why we have an awesome family type atmosphere on this channel. And if you guys got anything I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it. It gives others an opportunity to do so too. Definitely asking for prayers my way. Nothing bad's happening. Just got a big week in front of me. First off, I want to ask for prayers of my wife. She's in crunch time when it comes from and she's in school, and she's a little stressed out. She's doing the student teaching. There's a lot of things that are going to take her out of her comfort zone to basically finalize her degree to be an elementary school teacher. But she's ready for it. She's doing great. So just asking for prayers that I know she's going to be okay. God's going to take care of her. But asking for prayers for calmed anxiety. And then for me, just got a big week. Got some catching up to do. Thursday, I start a mentorship here locally at an elementary school my little girls go to. I'm going to be mentoring a kid for the second year in a row. It's a different kid than last year. So looking forward to that. And then this weekend, man, what's going on? This Friday, I'm traveling to Myrtle Beach. I don't know if you guys remember. I was going to do a podcast with some local meteorologists in the Myrtle Beach area. Well, it got postponed because of the Hurricane Idalia. And now I'm going to be doing it this Friday. So just, it's always nerve-wracking going up and talking in front of people in a podcast. So just asking for prayers my way about that. I know that once I get a couple minutes into it, start geeking out with the weather with other folks that love the weather, it's going to be good. But I look forward to posting that on the channel. I'm not going to post the video as it's my video, but I will share it. You guys will actually get to see me live and not just on the screen. So looking forward to that. Just asking for prayers of that. Sorry about the 4-minute intro. Just, it won't be like this every time. But with that being said, let's get rocking and rolling and talking about the weather here. So, excuse me. To start this off here, you see all the white down here? This is our low pressure developing. See if we can get a good circle. Yeah, that's pretty good. Low pressure is developing. This is bringing a lot of moisture into Louisiana. And it just continues to be a pretty moist atmosphere over the south in general, even though if it's not raining, which most areas it is not raining, but it continues to be a lot of moist air. Now, right here in this region, it is raining. Okay, raining pretty good. Rain is going to add up. So we'll give you an update on that. You see a little bit of energy kind of swinging through. You see a little bit of white on your screen here indicating more moisture in the atmosphere. This will continue to move in general eastward, and there's enough cold air. It is very cold in the northeast this morning. Very cold. I'll talk about that here in a second. But there'll be enough cold air that lingers around it. This will fall in the form of snow in the Adirondacks, Vermont, New Hampshire. Could even get some snowflakes all the way to southern New England, Mass. So we'll talk about that. And then we'll speak on just weather that continues to move into the western U.S. We'll talk about that, but nothing too crazy today, but we will speak on it. So let's get this off your screen. Talk about what's falling on your heads out there this morning. We got to get this in motion. I didn't have it in motion here. We gonna show something or not? What we got? There we go. A lot of moisture down here in southeast Texas, Louisiana, even some light to moderate rain falling in southwest Texas. So a lot of rain in Louisiana, even a little bit of rain in southwest Mississippi. We need the rain down here, and we are seeing some good rains down here. This is really good news. So we continue to see it down here, and we will give you an update on how far north and how far east this rain will spread. We do have moisture that's starting to enter the picture. A lot of this probably ain't hitting the ground quite yet, but the radar will begin to feel a little bit more as we get into the later in the morning hours and the early afternoon hours in New York State and areas of interior New England. Then we got some moisture up here in the Pacific Northwest. Not a huge deal, nothing crazy to compare to what you've seen, but definitely some moisture that continues to enter Washington, Oregon, and northern Cal. The middle of the country, pretty quiet. It's been like that for quite a while now. Storm Prediction Center, we could have some flashes of lightning, maybe rumbles of thunder up here. As kind of the initial band of moisture moves through, could get some lake effect energy, maybe some thunder snow, Watertown down to Rochester, Syracuse, we'll see. And then we have some moisture down here on the east coast of Florida. Could be in the form of some storms, and then along the Gulf Coast, southeast coastline of Texas and Louisiana, we'll watch for that. Flash flooding, not a big deal today, guys. Just a marginal risk, 5% risk of flash flood guidance being met within 25 miles in any given location, Corpus Christi up to Houston, and then almost all the way to New Orleans, but not quite. Watches and warnings, not a whole lot going on. We got a coastal flood watch here near the bayou, and then the coastal regions of Mississippi, red flag warnings in the hot pink, a little bit of wind advisories, windy conditions in southern North Dakota today, southern South Dakota, dense fog in western areas of Texas. But as far as anything else, a flood watch up for northwest Washington State, but man, it's pretty quiet out there. But speaking on the southeast, a lot of the southeast, not a whole lot will happen today. Now, if you put your eyes to this side of the screen over here, it's a little bit of a different story, but a lot of this moisture will stay confined to the southern sections of Louisiana and Mississippi, things like that. But we are waking up. Let me know what you're seeing in the east coast of Florida this morning. HRR model, I hadn't even looked at the radar over there. HRR model is saying that you guys are seeing some thunderstorm action this morning. So let me know what you're seeing over there. But we keep this going in time. Like I said, most of Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, pretty quiet today. But we start to get to just after lunchtime. Light to moderate rain continues to fall in the southern half of Louisiana. You got to get way down there in southern Mississippi this afternoon to see the rain. Even Mobile, the rain starts to fall. A little bit of light rain starts to enter the western areas of the panhandle of Florida. If you get down to the peninsula of Florida, some scattered showers, maybe some scattered downpours are possible. Moving in just off the east side of the state. Could get a little bit of rain shower activity just north of Jacksonville into Georgia. But we get into this evening, rain continues to fall in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Gulfport. But you notice, you got to start to get into tomorrow morning before some of this light rain gets a little bit further north, like closer to Monroe, closer to Shreveport, Jackson, Mississippi, just getting a little bit further north. And then as we're getting into tomorrow, some of this rain could begin to overspread and get a little bit further north into Alabama and Georgia. But a lot of the heavier moisture is off the coastline. I ain't gonna lie, this system has ticked a little bit further south, so some of the heaviest rain has moved a little bit further south, but I still think a lot of these areas will get a good soaking. But just between now and tomorrow morning, most of the rain is going to be the southern half of Louisiana and southern areas of Mississippi. So as of now, that's what we're looking at. In fact, let's just go on and look at the National Weather Service forecast, and let's stick with the blend of all models. I like that better, to be honest, especially indicating more rain moving into the panhandle. But not a whole lot's going to add up for Gulfport or Mobile, forgetting the cities down here. That's two that I normally say for the coastal regions of Mississippi and Alabama. But maybe, 1/15 of an inch, quarter of an inch of rain, it's very possible. But once you start to hug the coastline, that's when you start to get to half inch, 3/4 of an inch. Somebody's probably going to get an inch of rain along the coastline, Louisiana. So moving into the northeast, Man, it is cold out there, guys. One of your colder mornings of the season so far. I'm wondering if New York City, I don't think they had got a freeze yet. It's pretty wild. Urban Heat Island will do that, but you got to be flirting with around the freezing mark in New York City. You're definitely below freezing in Boston, all of southern New England below freezing, and then you start to get well into the teens. There's somebody probably in the single digits, way up there in those higher elevations of just the Alps and the Adirondacks, Vermont, New Hampshire, white and green mountains, I believe is what it is. And you're at or just below or just above freezing in Washington, D.C., at the Baltimore, Philly. It's pretty cold out there. So some moisture will move into this cold atmosphere right here. In fact, let's look at it. And here it is starting off this morning. We'll stop it around here. It's around lunchtime, 1 p.m. We got an area of snow that's moving into the northern sections of the state of New York, Adirondacks. This will drop a quick inch and a half of snow, I think. And then we start to make our way into Monday, fully into this afternoon. And, some of these flakes could make it all the way down to the higher hills of Western Mass. I really think it's possible. And by the time we're getting to about 5 p.m., we have some nice flakes just kind of flying around out here. Maybe some light to at times moderate snow flying around here in Vermont, New Hampshire. And then as we're getting to this evening, it's still flying around. Like I said, it could add up to an inch or two of snow. Maybe somebody can get a 3 inches of snow. But this continues, and you got to wonder this evening as we get into Boston, can we get a little bit of a rain snow mix? I think just north of town you could, or you can. But we'll see what happens, and then we start to make our way deeper into the evening, to the night. And then this is when we can get some more kind of convective-like kind of snow showers that moves in to the Adirondacks. And this is when you can get some heavier bursts of snow, maybe even kind of a rain-snow mix just off the lake here in the Finger Lakes region. I think most of this will be rain, though, kind of rain instead of like lake effect snow, maybe lake effect rain coming off Lake Ontario. And then this gets into maybe the higher hills of southern, not the higher hills, the mountains. I think it's the Catskills, and you got the Poconos down here in northeast Pennsylvania. You could begin to mix with a little bit of snow, maybe get a light dusting. So, but snowfall between now and the next 24 hours, I would argue somebody can get a little bit more than this. But certainly in these higher elevations, 2 to 3 inches of snow is possible. The lower elevations, an inch and a half, very possible. You make your way a little bit further up northeast, and a dusting of snow is possible in these areas. You take it all the way out to Wednesday morning, and these higher elevations, certainly 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of snow, maybe a dusting in these lower elevations. So it's very possible. Kind of a wintry day in the Northeast today for sure. But the south central U.S., rain will continue to fall, and a lot of Texas, really the entire southern half of Texas, will see light rain today. And let's make sure we get South Texas in the frame. There's that low pressure, and this is getting into early this afternoon. This continues. A lot of the heavy rain stays just off the coastline of Texas, but some of it will kind of inch right into the coastline, like right up into Houston, where light to moderate, maybe at times heavy rain could fall a day. But there's going to just be a confined area of kind of light rain that falls in, I would say kind of southwest, was that the Big Hill country of Texas, kind of falls in this area throughout the afternoon, this evening. And as we're getting into the overnight hours, just some scattered light rain and drizzle continues to fall throughout the night for most of central and southern and southeastern Texas. So rainfall from this, you could add up to a good half inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch in this area of southwest Texas, maybe a quarter to a half inch and deep down in southwest Texas and western areas of the state. But along the coastline, another inch and a half of rain is likely at this point. So pretty much the entire coastline of Texas has a chance to see that. And a lot of this could potentially fall this morning. So more rain today. Continues to add up, continues to put a nice dent into y'all's drought, so that's good to see. North central U.S., man, probably one of the most quiet areas of the day. There isn't nothing going on. Some shower activity could swing into the extreme eastern UP of Michigan. Some of these showers could make it down to the lower areas of Michigan, the northern areas of the lower Michigan region. And by the time we get into this evening, still, kind of the same, not a whole lot going on. And we're waking up tomorrow morning. It's pretty quiet conditions, guys. Not a whole lot going on. up here in this neck of the woods. So you guys enjoy your nicer weather. Western U.S., we continue to deal with moisture with the system that moved in yesterday. Higher elevation snow there in the Cascades. And we got higher elevation snow in Oregon also. The valleys, just a little bit of rain shower activity. Some of this moisture will begin to enter the extreme northern portion of Idaho this evening into northwest Montana. A little bit of snow in those higher elevation regions. And then we start to look at California. We'll go on and zoom into this region. I don't look at this area a whole lot, but as we're getting into overnight, I'm thinking like around midnight and after, some rain begins to move into the San Francisco region. So definitely kind of a rainy overnight period. And then as we're getting into a little bit closer to about the 4 to 5 a.m. range, rain showers continue to move into the kind of the northern half of California. And a little bit of higher elevation snow for Northern California is likely also. And this continues into tomorrow. We're just continuing to get a little bit of rain shower activity up here. Man, my chair is tearing my nerves up. I really need to get a new chair. This chair is very old. So if you hear any squeaking in the background, it's just my chair over here squeaking away. So the eastern and central U.S. temperature-wise, guys, man, there's some big-time cold air. I wouldn't say big-time, but, for early to mid-November, it's pretty chilly. Got some cold air locked into the northeast. You will not get above freezing for almost the entire state of Maine. A lot of New Hampshire and Vermont, even western areas of Mass. I mean, we'll struggle to get above freezing today, and the Adirondacks all will stay below freezing. So very chilly air locked in to the northeast with high pressure funneling in some cold air, and that has actually allowed for a pretty chilly morning in the southeast this morning too. Typical November kind of weather today in the southeast, highs in the 60s. Some areas will struggle to get out the 50s. The Mississippi Valley, a nice warm day, 60s, low 70s. Missouri, Arkansas, Southern Illinois, Tennessee. Just this entire region will be pretty nice today. The Great Plains region, 60s. A little bit of rain, cold air down in Texas, but man, this is warm up here in the upper portion of the country. This is definitely warmer this time of the year, 50s into Minneapolis. Out west, nothing too crazy compared to average, maybe a little bit above average for certain areas and maybe a tick below average for certain areas. But, you're warming into the 60s all the way into Montana, and the high plains are looking pretty nice. So the temperatures out here are not too bad at all. But giving you guys an update on the tropics, there is an area to watch. This has a 60% chance to develop. Let's see if there's an update. And there's not. We do have an update from the 7 a.m. update, but it's still a 60% chance. 60% chance for maybe a depression to develop somewhere in this orange area down here over the next few to several days. So, areas of Cuba, Jamaica are in this. So we do need to watch out for this. Do I think we're going to get a major hurricane out of this? I do not, but there's definitely going to be a lot of tropical moisture, some gusty winds down here. As of now, I'm not too concerned, but let's go on and give you some model information. So this is starting off for Wednesday morning. You see the L popped up down here, a lot of greens and some yellows and reds, indicating a lot of moisture down here in the Caribbean. So we keep this going in motion. Waking up Thursday morning, it's starting to get, here comes our morning sneeze. There we go. It's becoming a morning thing now, but thank y'all. We got a developing low pressure, and it looks like it's kind of beginning to strengthen here. Jamaica here, Cuba here. At the same time, we got a system right here we need to watch out for. This could be something we need to watch with the East Coast. We'll speak on that more when we make a next evening video, which could be this evening. But then we start to get into Friday morning, and we have what is, based off the GFS, close to a tropical storm. This is a sub 1,000 millibar low pressure. This is too, but this is probably lacking tropical characteristics. This is probably more so some sort of coastal low. We need to watch both of these features. But then we start to get into Friday, into the weekend, and it does show some sort of tropical system moving in between Cuba and kind of the Dominican Republic, might begin to enter areas kind of just in the southwest Atlantic. But based off this run, almost lost my mouse there off my desk. This run shows kind of the meat of this system, missing Jamaica to the east. But this continues, develops into a stronger tropical system, then heads on out to sea. You would need to watch areas like Bermuda towards the later half of this coming weekend. So that's the GFS. What about the European, which is always going to be more conservative? A lot of moisture just kind of chilling down here in the Caribbean. It starts to bring a lot of heavier moisture into Jamaica. Gusty winds, some heavy rain, but nothing too crazy, guys. Based off the models right now. Of course, we've seen some crazy things happen, like the hurricane that affected western Mexico about a month ago now, a few weeks back. So we've seen crazier things happen for sure. But this kind of takes the same path as the GFS. Kind of goes right in between the Dominican Republic and Haiti and Cuba, and then gets on out into the Atlantic, and then heads on out to sea. It doesn't bother anybody else. But this could bring a big increase in moisture into areas of the greater Antilles. So we'll continue to watch that, guys. And, looking at the bigger picture here as we're getting a little bit further in time, I mentioned that we would kind of give you some information on what's to come. And you start this around Thursday morning, and there's that coastal low we need to watch. We have a trough that's going to dig down with a sharp trough, a little bit of cold air involved, energy associated with this trough. And then you got a big coastal storm based off the GFS right off the coastline of the eastern U.S. So if you're traveling this weekend, this could affect some things. It looks like the meat of this system is off the coast. But dare I say, can we have a big-time coastal event for like Cape Cod, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard? It's something we need to watch for sure. Boston, we got cold air moving in at the same time. And look at this. We might need to start talking about our friends here in Canada, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. We might have to start, throwing you guys in the forecast for sure, because as we get into this weekend, this has a pretty powerful coastal low blasting right into Canada. So at the same time, you got cold air on the backside of this, so you got rain changing to heavy snow. We need to watch this because areas like Maine is very close to a pace job, which means heavy, wet snow. Very, very close. But this shows a pretty powerful storm system. So for you folks tuning in from Atlanta, Canada, you guys might be included here in the forecast soon. We need to watch this system. After we move past that, some cold air, kind of a reinforcing shot of cold air moves in behind. This might kickstart the lake effect snow bands off Lake Erie, just pretty much all the Great Lakes. And then this is when we watch early next week. Some sort of low pressure. And man, the models are everywhere with this. Can't speak this morning. The latest GFS really kind of strings this out, gets more of a strung out system, and then it wants to redevelop it, swing it north. But it's a tough one to figure out, guys. You look at the European, and kind of the same thing, guys. We need to watch that coastal system. There it is. It's not near as strong as the GFS. It's a 993, but kind of taking that same route, right? We need to watch this. And then here comes the system next week. All right, there it is. Big land low pressure right here. Snow on the cold side way back here. This is going to yank up a lot of warm, moist air into the Gulf of Mexico, into the Gulf states. And we have to watch for some severe weather with a cutting track like this. Okay, this could bring a lot of rain for portions of our Thanksgiving week. Could have some thunderstorms with this with a Euro track. The Euro's been flirting with this. And then if you look at the very end of the Euro, which is 10 days out, kind of Thanksgiving Eve, if you will, shows a big blast of cold air beginning to enter the picture in the middle of the country. So we need to figure this out. What we do know is we look at heights, we look at low pressure and high pressure. It indicates some sort of trough and low pressure in the eastern U.S. this weekend. We need to watch for that. And then the latest GFS ensemble does show some sort of system and some sort of cold front, some sort of trough potential as we are getting into next week. Now, is this going to be like a cold front that really significantly cools us down for Thanksgiving week? I don't know. I don't know. I would watch maybe the 10 to 15 day range for anything like that. But regardless, the blues you see on your screen indicate it indicates low pressure, which indicates some sort of storm system Thanksgiving week. Okay, and you look at the European ensemble too, and we start moving to Thanksgiving week. If you're confused about the time frames we're at, look up here, November 20. So This is getting into Monday of our Thanksgiving week. This shows a big storm system right here. Indicates low pressure, and then, of course, typically with some sort of upper trough of energy, you're going to have a trailing cold front, but this is more cut off on the European, which indicates kind of a different storm system. And we'll speak on all those details when we know more. And then we got just a gigantic trough that sets up over the western U.S., and then we're probably going to have some sort of storm track that goes just like this with some sort of massive gradient between very cold air and warmer than average air. So we need to watch that. But that's all I got. We'll continue to get very detailed on that as we inch a little bit closer day by day, video to video. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless all y'all, and y'all have a great Monday.